What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Do Some Ish with me. Today we've got a weird setting to our evening ride. It's 6:30 p.m. The weather called for temperatures of 85 to 90 degrees for the day. And I'm actually about to head back home to grab my sweater for this ride because the wildfires in Canada are having a pretty significant effect on the East Coast right now. I believe because of how the wind is moving, a lot of the smoke is coming down into the states. And it seems like Massachusetts is one of the states that's actually pretty affected by it. So right now it looks like, or at least it feels like, we're kind of in a zombie apocalypse. I'm assuming that the smoke is kind of hovering and blocking out the sun, which means that there isn't as much heat as was anticipated. With that said, I made the decision to go out and venture on this evening to see if, weather like this, fog, smoke, is actually something that a new rider should be riding in. Not sure if you guys can see the skies, but there's literally absolutely zero sun, zero clouds. All of that you see is pretty much smoke. Those are not clouds. The day has felt kind of yellowish, if that makes any sense. Alright guys, we are all suited, as you can tell. For the very first time, I've actually swapped out the dark visor for the clear one. There's no sun, there is barely any light. It really feels like 4 or 5 o'clock on a winter afternoon or winter evening, which is kind of weird. I'm gonna do a normal loop that I normally do just to see, if visibility is affected, or if I just happen to learn something about these type of conditions that may be a good addition to my overall riding knowledge. I guess the constant in this situation will be the route, and then at some point I am also going to try and get on the highway. I know for a fact that between 7 and 8 o'clock is the time that the sun starts to settle going north on the highway that's by me. This is something that is going to be a nice learning experience, so I'll share as we ride together. But for now, let's enjoy the open road. I am kind of surprised at the lack of cars on the road. The weird thing is that this morning I dropped my son off at a camp and it was a normal morning. I mean, the sun was out, the skies were blue. I got back home, I started working, and then my youngest son came home from soccer practice. And he said, do you know why the sky is like that? Is because there's fires in Canada and the smoke is reaching us. And to be honest, I'm not exactly the best at staying up in current news of the world, but I had no idea those fires were going on. So when he said that, I immediately, turned on the news and they were just talking about it. And I'm like, oh wow. And then I looked outside and I'm like, yeah, it just looks like somebody put a filter in the world, or put a filter in my window that kind of just gives the day this weird tint. And then they're saying, try to avoid going outside because the air quality is very poor today due to all of the smoke in the air. And I'm like, oh man, I did have a couple errands to run earlier, so I was kind of worried about doing that, but I went out and it wasn't too bad. My daughter does have asthma, so she is feeling it a little bit, but I don't think that it's enough to impact in any major way. I'm hoping that, now that I think about it, she actually did get up this morning very early and had to use her asthma pump. So maybe it was in the air before it was visible. I have no idea, but the truth is that I found it to be a good setting to experience, you know, if anything changes in conditions like these. So far, the major difference that I'm noticing is that there are way less cars and motorcycles on the road. I have yet to see a motorcycle, if I'm recalling correctly. Possibly saw one, I can't even remember. But yeah, it just feels kind of weird. It kind of feels like end of the world-ish vibes, you know. Truth is, I don't even know if it's safe to be out here. Now that I think about it, I actually haven't checked how many miles I've put on this bike. I know I got it just shy of 11,000, so wow. Okay, so I'm actually almost at the 1,000 mile mark. I purchased the bike, I want to say 10,970-ish miles, and right now I have 11,855, so I'm pretty much about 150 miles from making my first 1,000 miles on this bike. And I've only owned it for, I want to say, about a month or so, month and some change. The way I see it is, if I'm not doing anything and I can put some time behind the handlebars, why the hell not, right? You know, as I took that turn, something took over my brain. And it made me feel, I guess it's because I know that I'm riding in different type of conditions, but my brain automatically went to slow down because the roads are wet mode, which don't make any sense, but I guess that's kind of the correlation that my brain took on. And it kind of felt unsafe because for some reason I thought I was going too fast because it was a wet road, but there's no wetness on the road, on the street. The streets are dry. It just kind of gives you that feeling like, I don't know, maybe it just finished raining or it's going to rain. So it kind of, I guess, confused my brain cells. So far, I haven't noticed any real major differences when it comes to visibility. I was kind of worried about, you know, maybe like fog or something like that. I'm not seeing any of that. I mean, obviously it is dark, and I did change into my clear face shield with the yellow glasses under, but I don't see any major, you know, visibility discrepancies compared to how this normally looks. I have still yet to see a single motorcycle rider. It makes me wonder if I should even be out here. Maybe they know something that I don't know and I shouldn't be out here? I don't know. It's weird. I mean, there's not like ashes are falling from the sky and roads may be slippery because of that. I can still see fine, as you guys can tell. I would figure that riders would be excited that it's not 85 and 90 degrees out as we've expected it to be. So I would definitely go out. I'll take any day with good weather, especially cool weather, as a riding day. I just realized that I have not ridden a motorcycle during the fall yet, so I still haven't been able to experience that like autumn or fall foliage that the leaves provide. And so I'm actually looking forward to that. I'll definitely make a video of that, you know, my first fall as a rider. But I'm also kind of just thinking ahead. I'm assuming that leaves on the ground are definitely a no-no, similar to grass or like gravel. So if you guys have any tips or anything that might be handy or helpful, please drop it in the comments so that I can educate myself. By the way, the channel has been getting some pretty decent traction. So I really want to take a second to thank everybody who has recently subscribed, and all of those folks who have taken time to, you know, to like the videos and just to simply watch the videos that I'm putting out. You know, I do take a lot of time and pride into these videos. I have been trying to learn more about editing and different types of editing techniques. I decided to invest a little more money and have the dual camera setup. I also upgraded the microphone and how I am, you know, messing around with the settings to record the audio. Right now my focus is improving my content and thinking outside the box when it comes to the material that I try to speak about in my content. I am a new writer, so I give the most genuine opinion of things based on my experience. I don't have the most knowledge about writing as other people do. Part of the reason why I'm so dedicated to learning things the right way is for the fact that I don't really have anybody to turn to and ask for advice that is a close friend. The truth is that we do have YouTube as a resource. If I can put out content out there of things that I would have liked to learn about, or things that I would have liked to know before I got into this whole thing, then I'm okay with that. I think that the best example that I have right now is the video that I have installing the Viking bags fairing. That there are videos out there of, you know, people installing, like known YouTubers installing fairings, but I don't think that all fairings are universal. So I may be watching someone install, you know, a different manufacturer's fairing, but that doesn't mean that the Viking bags fairing is going to install the same way. So when I did the research and tried to watch videos before I did the installation on my own bike, I couldn't find a good resource. What kind of inspired me and gave me that motivation to be able to be hopefully one of the people that someone out there watches and helps them kind of connect the two dots about something that they may be curious about, whether it's an installation of something or, you know, anything about just being a brand new rider. This video here, it was kind of like an impromptu video, but I wanted to see if there was a major difference between a normal sunny day of riding and a video and an evening of riding with smoke coming from wildfires in another country. Part of what I wanted to do today was take the highway going north. Normally at this time of the day we would be able to clearly see the sunset, and as you guys can tell, there's just nothing there. And I mean, we can see sunlight behind all of the smoke up there, but there's nothing aside from that. This was kind of the final test that I wanted to do this evening. When it comes to air quality, I don't feel anything out of the ordinary. I'm not having trouble breathing or anything like that. It seems like it's definitely not affecting the riding experience, aside from the fact that it is a little cooler than was anticipated, and that the sunlight is pretty much just filtered behind the smoke. You know, in a way it feels like it's clouds, but these are not clouds. These are this is all smoke. As I mentioned, I haven't seen a single rider out here, so I'm wondering if I'm the only one that's either dumb enough or crazy enough to do this. I mean, I don't feel like it's any type of danger, right? Like, it's just smoke. It's not exactly on the horizon or on the streets. It looks like it's all just in the sky, so I don't exactly understand a danger if there is one. You know, I am having a great time riding on this highway right now. Can't even try to lie. Because this guy was the biggest fear on the highway. Oh, we got a motorcycle rider out there. tried to wave at him like a dumbass. He was on the other side of the highway. Dummy.